Do you see it in front of you? Grasp it tightly, hold it firm, for it will be all you see. Thrust the spear, thrust the spear, thrust the spear, thrust the spear. Again, again, again. An endless cycle repeats, day after day, week after week, month after month, now year into year. What time is it now? How long have you been doing this? Now repeats after me. Thrust the spear, thrust the spear, thrust the spear, thrust the spear. Again, again, again. Repeats after me. Thrust the spear, thrust the spear, thrust the spear. Again, again, again. With the second season already underway after nearly 2 years on hiatus, I felt like a video about worthless regression would be a much needed refresher for what has happened in the past 61 chapters, and why this manhwa is one of my favorites in the regression tropes that have been a little bit dry due to the oversaturation of cliche and predictable plots. Worthless Regression follows the journey of Lee Sung-min, a 27-year-old mercenary who has regressed back into his 14-year-old body. To the first day, he was transported to another dimension, that being the world of Eria. There exists many ways to grow stronger in Eria, whether that be treasured weapons, your own fist, or even magic. Alongside this is the typical monster and dungeon aspect that would be normally expected from such a world. We also learned that the world of Eria summons many people from many different dimensions as well, and all the summoned first arrive in the city of the beginnings, Xenavius. What immediately captures my attention is the art style. It's not really cartoonish to say, but it differs greatly to the generic art style that many other manhwas embody and employ. I feel like many manhwas lean heavily on art that's similar to Solo Leveling, partially due to Solo Leveling's immense success clearly. Many of these manhwas want to recreate the success, and whilst the art might be enjoyable for many people, personally for me it grows a little bit tedious looking at the same thing. For Worthless Regression, however, it's just refreshing to actually see something different. Something that is not just a Solo Leveling lookalike. Sure, it doesn't look as detailed as what Solo Leveling and other manhwas are, but it has an endearing charm that makes the read and the art very enjoyable. I love how the characters have their own each unique look, and I love the variance in art. In one panel, there could be exceptional attention to detail, whilst in another panel, it looks very crudely drawn. The blend between the humor of the crude art and the seriousness and awe associated with a well-drawn panel works wonders to engage the audience, and elicits a varying range of emotions. There is also a little more color saturation as well, that makes the manhwa livelier instead of a little more subdued. I personally like a little more color to panels as it really brightens the manhwa and highlights the objects of interest, whether that be the scenery, a weapon, or the individual themselves. There is a large utilization of shadows to accentuate certain features of characters, and it is balanced well. And with the characters themselves, there seems to be some depth to them. Knowing that in many regression manhwas, the sole focus of the manhwa is the growth of the protagonist, Worthless Regression does embody this route, however adds a little more depth on the secondary characters. Individuals that come up in earlier chapters, whether that be the female protagonist, Weiji, Young, and the other practitioners residing in the mountains, are not just simple obstacles for Sungmin to overcome. They become close friends to him, allies in his bid for strength. It's not as though they are simply just in his path, not just stepping stones, but they can be close friends. And with their reappearance in later chapters and their own significance in shaping the world of Eria, Worthless Regression becomes much more than just a heavy-centered focus of the main protagonist. And we cannot forget about the main protagonist himself, Lee Sung-min. The first few chapters focus heavily on Sung-min's interactions with the people around him, as he tries to navigate a life that strays away from his previous one. We learn how he came into possession of the relic that would turn back time, his frustration at his worthlessness that led him to the extreme, fighting through dungeons for that silver of a thread, an opportunity to climb higher, become greater. I like that from the get-go, he already takes stock of the situation that he is in, and adapts extremely quickly to the different scenarios around him. It's especially funny to see him fake his gratitude to get towards his end goal, that being not repeating his previous life and instead striving to live a better life. He utilizes whatever means available and capitalizes on as many opportunities that can be afforded to him, given his low standing as a no class. This desperation and drive to rise out of unfavorable and impoverished conditions makes for a very enjoyable read, and you really get to feel for the main protagonist, and you get to really root for him. I find that for many regression manhwas, there seems to be a limited exploration into this theme. The protagonists often find themselves blessed with a talent that invalidates the arduous journey of growth, does not allow for the struggle and growth of a character. However, in Sungmin's case, his blessing is only the regression itself. There are no overpowered talents that come with regressing, nothing except for the knowledge in his head, and that knowledge is pretty limited as well. This is further reinforced by the pitiful amount of talent he possesses. Unlike other characters who may be descended from prestigious individuals of their own world, he is just simply himself, an individual who compensates talent for intense and immense hard work, a person that can be sympathized for, a person who can be admired. However, the author does not raise him upon a golden pedestal, does not gift him with qualities that make him invaluable, make him loved and cherished. They instead present a glaring flaw that will always continue to haunt him, his sense of inferiority. This comes about in many different ways, and is especially prominent in Sungming's interactions with the ordinary townsfolk and martial artists. Inferiority appears within the art as the art itself grows darker and more insidious, representing Sungmin's darkening thoughts, his anger and frustration at himself, self-loathing at his own weaknesses, and frustration towards those that invalidate his immense hard work for simply telling him that he is talented. This inferiority also creates some friction between Weiji, his only friend, and as of now, and himself, as his lack of a goal and the ambiguity of his purpose in his second life stems from viewing himself as weak, stems from believing that there is no real point in this life other than living a slightly better one, due to there being people who are just simply better than him, more talented than him. What's the point when one's starting line is way above the others? To forge a path destined for greatness is impossible for him. But Weiji remarks how this disgusting sense of inferiority holds him back from trying. How does one know the end when they haven't even taken the first step to try to reach it? Exactly, they don't. So why not try? And so he does. And they make a promise. 10 years from now, they'll meet and spar together to see how much progress they have made, to see whether Sungming is more than just a lava, more than just a cicada, more than just someone worthless. Worthless Regression to me is just a great manhwa to read. I just love everything about it, to be honest. And with the upcoming releases of chapters each week, they just make me really excited to see what's in the future for it. I guess with all that said, have a great day and hope you guys enjoyed this.